Saddam Hussein's name still echoes across the world, remembered with fear, power, and controversy. His life was filled with ambition, cruelty, and survival, shaping one of the most striking and tragic stories of the modern Middle East. Saddam Hussein was born on April 28, 1937, in the small village of Al-Ajah, near Tikrit in Iraq. His father, Hussein Abd al-Majid, disappeared before Saddam Hussein's birth, and his mother, Subha Tulfa al-Musalat, struggled with grief and poverty. Life began with pain and absence for Saddam Hussein, and this early hardship shaped a personality driven by the need to control and dominate. Raised partly by his uncle, Karala Tulfa, Saddam Hussein grew up in an environment of strong nationalist ideas and deep resentment toward colonial rule, which left a strong mark on his worldview. In his childhood, Saddam Hussein faced neglect and hardship. His stepfather treated him harshly, and school did not come easily in those early years. Yet, determination pushed him forward. He moved to Baghdad to live with his uncle, where he entered secondary school and was introduced to politics. By his teenage years, Saddam Hussein was already drawn into the Ba'ath Party, a movement that promoted Arab unity, socialism, and nationalism. He admired the vision of a powerful Arab world and dreamed of playing a key role in shaping it. Education was not a smooth journey. Saddam Hussein studied law at the University of Baghdad, but his time there was often interrupted by political activities and clashes with authorities. Eventually, he abandoned his studies to give full attention to the Ba'ath Party. His belief in political struggle was stronger than his interest in classrooms, and the path he chose would take him away from books and into the dangerous world of power. Saddam Hussein married Sajida Talfa, his cousin and the daughter of his influential uncle. Together, they had 5 children, sons Uday and Qusay, and daughters Raghad, Rana, and Hala. His family life seemed strong on the surface, but it was filled with strict control and high expectations. Saddam Hussein also later took additional wives, which added more complexity to his household. His sons, especially Uday and Qusay, were raised to be heirs of his power, though their cruelty would eventually stain his legacy further. The beginning of Saddam Hussein's career came through the Ba'ath Party. In 1959, he took part in a failed attempt to assassinate Iraq's Prime Minister, Abd al-Karim Qasim. The mission failed, and Saddam Hussein was forced into exile in Egypt. There, he continued his political activities, waiting for a chance to return. His boldness during this time gave him a reputation as a committed nationalist. After the Ba'ath Party came to power briefly in 1963 and again in 1968, Saddam Hussein rose quickly through the ranks, becoming a key figure in Iraq's leadership. Saddam Hussein's major achievements were tied to his ability to consolidate power. By 1979, he became president of Iraq, and he ruled with absolute authority. He launched ambitious projects, modernized infrastructure, and built schools, hospitals, and highways. Iraq's oil wealth gave him resources to strengthen the state and raise living standards for many. Under his rule, Iraq appeared strong and modern, and Saddam Hussein was admired by some for his determination to make his country a regional power. Yet his rule was also marked by immense challenges and cruelty. Saddam Hussein faced a devastating war with Iran from 1980 to 1988, which cost hundreds of thousands of lives. He used chemical weapons against both Iranian forces and Kurdish civilians, shocking the world with his brutality. In 1990, he invaded Kuwait, hoping to expand Iraq's power, but this led to the Gulf War in 1991 and massive destruction in Iraq. Sanctions, poverty, and rebellion followed, leaving ordinary Iraqis to suffer while Saddam Hussein clung to power with iron control. The later years of Saddam Hussein's life were filled with struggle against the United States and its allies. In 2003, U.S.-led forces invaded Iraq, accusing him of possessing weapons of mass destruction. His government collapsed, and Saddam Hussein went into hiding before being captured near Tikrit in December of that year. For a man who had once ruled with unshakable confidence, it was the ultimate fall. He was tried by an Iraqi court for crimes against humanity and sentenced to death. On December 30, 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed by hanging. His death was broadcast across the world, marking the end of an era. The legacy of Saddam Hussein remains deeply divided. To some, he was a leader who stood against foreign powers and tried to modernize Iraq. To others, he was a dictator who crushed dissent, destroyed lives, and dragged his country into endless suffering. Iraq continues to feel the impact of his rule long after his death, and his story remains a warning of how power, ambition, and fear can shape a nation's destiny. One of Saddam Hussein's famous quotes was, "I am not afraid of being executed. History will record that I was wronged, and that my enemies were liars." If you found this story powerful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from history's most unforgettable figures.